How the average Joe can beat the tax man. Look, we are taxed to death, and that is truly stealing our wealth and our future. So in this video, I want to talk about how much we're paying in taxes, how long it takes us to pay those taxes, and ways to get around it so we could reduce that tax burden without having to be a millionaire. If that sounds good to you, be sure to keep watching. I'm Jake with Blue Collar Finance and Home Loans. Our mission here is to have people question and think outside the box as to how they can build a prosperous financial future. Outside of the box thinking is what creates more opportunities and value. And our whole goal here is to question the norm and why it may not be working for most and what we can do to make things work in our favor. Well, taxes. If you're like me, you think it's theft. I personally think that taxes and inflation are the biggest thieves of our wealth and why our middle class is shrinking. They intentionally don't teach us about taxes because if we knew more about taxes, we would do everything we could to get around them. But honestly, something that I'm going to talk about today is restricted by so much about how I can say it and phrase it because of how lobbying works, and Wall Street wants to make sure you keep your money there where you still get taxed, and the government also wants to make sure that no matter what you're doing, you're paying them. Right? It's all about winning for them. It's not winning for us. So let's dig into how that happens. So I found this cool article on Motley Fool, and here it is. It takes 108 days just to pay your federal taxes on average. So April 18th is what they call Tax Freedom Day. Like, we have to have a Tax Freedom Day? I don't think so. That's the most un-American thing in my personal opinion. I mean, the Revolutionary War started over a 3% tax on tea. Like, we've definitely gone very far away from where America was founded on. So if that doesn't include the state tax, it doesn't count like fuel taxes, how much other taxes we pay, sales tax, you name it. If that's 108 days, how many more days does it take to make sure that the governments are satisfied? Well, it's over 6 months. We are technically tax slaves, in my personal opinion, and we have to find ways to help ourselves win. One thing that they talk about is like tax deferred accounts, like your 401ks and your IRAs. Garbage. If you do the math, the person who makes $75,000 a year gets a $600 tax savings a year. Not worth it. Because if you generate that account into $100,000, which hopefully it's more, but the average 60 to 69-year-old only has $200,000 in their retirement accounts. If it's $200,000, 30% of that goes to Uncle Sam, so you actually have 140. That's why it's designed that way. They want you to pay more in taxes and then fees, but I'm not going to get into that. We're talking about taxes here. So what is it that the average Joe, like you and I, can do to get ahead of the tax game? I mean, it already takes enough. It costs us a lot. So how do we beat it? Cash value life insurance policies are things that they don't talk about, that we have to be very careful how we even approach it. Because when you put money into a cash value life insurance policies, you have 3 tax codes going into your favor. You have the 7702, the 101A, and the 72E. It means your money can grow tax-free, you can access it tax-free, and the death benefit goes to your family tax-free. This is how the Rockefellers built their nest egg. And a lot of people don't realize that, but every person in the Rockefeller family got a cash value life insurance policy because of the loopholes. And then it used to be you could contribute how much ever you wanted, but banks and Wall Street got mad because then people took all their money out of there and put it into a place where they can grow it and access it tax-free, which makes sense. So they, the lobbyists paid politicians passed laws, and here we are today. So if you're working with the right person, you can design it properly so you can capitalize on it without having any type of taxable event. So that's why now they call it tax deferred. But you take a loan out of your policy, just like if you take a cash out refinance, that money is tax-free. It doesn't come out on a 1099. It doesn't have any of that aspect. And this is why working with the right person to show you how these tools work to actually build wealth is so critical. So you can easily contribute to a cash value life insurance policy. And here's the caveat that they don't talk about. When you put money in a bank, right? Say you have $10,000. Well, you spend $6,000 of that a month, just as an example. only $4,000 is accruing your 0.000023% interest, right? Pretty much nothing. Now, if you had that same scenario, but it was in a cash value life insurance policy, you have $10,000 in there, you take out $6,000 to pay your monthly bills. The cash value policy still grows with the $10,000 in it. So you're getting a return on that 10 grand, not just the 4. Yes, there is a difference because you have a rate for borrowing, but most times it is less than what you're getting as a whole through the account. So you're actually a net positive, and that gives you phantom cash flow. Now, this is where most people don't talk about generating wealth, because we always talk about what we have to do to earn money and work and exchange, and we need to have residual income. And you get that with cash value life insurance policies. So this is just a quick snippet into how you can beat the tax man as being the average person out there. If you have any questions about this, send me a DM. You can email me either way, or honestly, throw out the comments. I'd love to hear it. I do know that a lot of people don't like these policies, but that's okay. We don't have to agree on things, and it's your choice to go your route. But if you want to learn more ways about how to beat the tax man and how you can truly win, be sure to keep following this channel.